we discover than a lot of building himself. There is a trade relationship that has endured as the backbone of North American civilization for 150 years. Through two world wars, through the Great Depression, through 9/11, through a global pandemic, that relationship died. January 20th, 2026, 9:14 a.m. Eastern Time, Davos, Switzerland. Before Wall Street opened, before Washington finished its morning briefing, before the markets even logged in, Mark Carney walked to a podium at the World Economic Forum and said one word that changed everything: rupture. It's called the Canada-US Free Trade Relationship. $1.1 trillion in annual trade, 68 million jobs on both sides of the border, 150 years of unbroken alliance, and Donald Trump is not the reason it ended. He is the reason Canada stopped waiting for it to be saved. This isn't a trade dispute. This is a divorce. The relationship that rebuilt the post-war world. Over, finished, terminated, not by China, not by Russia, by the nation that swore it would never let it fall. In 12 minutes, I'll show you the leaked risk document that reclassified America like a failed state. The phone call where Trump demanded Canada surrender its sovereignty. How Carney built a $270 billion alternative in 90 days. And why your groceries, your car, your 401k are already paying the price. You are watching the American empire lose its closest ally, not to an enemy, to a partner who simply got tired. Don't look away. 6 weeks ago, Donald Trump called Mark Carney. It was supposed to be a routine diplomatic check-in, a formality between neighbors. It became something else entirely. According to 4 sources, a senior Canadian trade official, a G7 diplomatic advisor, a former NSC staffer, and a Davos briefing document, here is what was said. He said, "You're going to accept these terms, or we're going to tariff you into the ground." Demand 1. 25% across-the-board tariffs, permanent. He was telling the leader of 38 million people, the 9th largest economy, a nuclear NATO ally, to restructure its entire export economy by February. He wasn't offering negotiation. He wasn't offering transition time. He wasn't offering anything. It's economic warfare dressed up as patriotism. Demand 2. Canadian energy sold at American set prices. Not market rates, not bilateral agreement, American dictated prices, for Canadian oil, on Canadian soil. The audacity is not a bug, it's the strategy. Demand 3. The breaking point. Canada is the 51st state whether you like it or not. You need us. We don't need you. A long, cold silence followed. The kind of silence that doesn't mean submission, it means calculation. Carney's response, confirmed publicly. Canada will never, in any shape or form, be part of the United States. Call ended after 11 minutes, was scheduled for 45. Within 90 minutes, emergency cabinet meeting, Carney, Joly, finance minister, trade team. Within 48 hours, Canadian negotiators dispatched to Brussels, Riyadh, Delhi, Tokyo. Within 21 days, the UAE signed a $70 billion investment commitment into Canada. Trump called at 1 a.m. and called Canada a farm. Carney hung up and built a $270 billion alternative that cuts out America entirely. That's what happens when you confuse patience for weakness. We do evidence here, not opinion. Evidence, documents, data. Receipt 1. The leaked document. North American Trade Stability Assessment Q4 2025. A 94-page internal risk reclassification. Leaked to the Financial Times in November 2025. Confirmed by 3 independent investment sources. In Q1 2025, the United States was classified as Tier 3 risk, stable, same bracket as Germany, same bracket as Japan. By Q3 2025, the United States was reclassified to Tier 1 risk, the same bracket as conflict zones and nations undergoing regime change. The analyst wrote, "Unpredictability of executive trade policy now exceeds structural risk tolerance for long-term capital deployment." They compared America to an emerging market too unstable to invest in. That's not an insult. That's a spreadsheet. That's math. Receipt 2. The market verdict. Money doesn't lie. Let's listen. Canada's side. Canadian dollar surged 3.2% in 90 minutes after Carney's Davos speech. TSX rallied 1.8%. UAE signed 70 billion Scandinavian dollars. Energy, AI, logistics, infrastructure. America's side. S&P 500 fell 1.8%. Dow dropped 650 points. Nasdaq down 2.6%. Gold spiked to $3,500 per ounce, highest in recorded history. Bond yields spiked 47 basis points. Your mortgage just went up. The market is celebrating Canada's divorce from American dependency. Let that sink in. Receipt 3. The corporate exodus. This is where it gets real. Real names, real buildings, real receipts. The Siebel Institute of Technology, America's oldest brewing school, founded 1872 in Chicago. 157 years, gone. Relocated to Montreal, Quebec, January 1st, 2026. Their statement: operational costs, industry trends, and the current trade climate. Phillips Distilling Company, Minnesota, home of Sourpuss liqueur, signed a 5-year deal to move all production to Montreal after Canadian provinces pulled American alcohol off shelves. CEO's words: the choice was easy. Canadians are most of our customers. Carbon Capture Incorporated, Silicon Valley clean tech firm, had a $200 million direct air capture facility planned in Arizona. Canceled. Moved entirely to Deep Sky Alpha, Alberta, Canada. 3 verified companies, 3 different industries, 1 direction, north. And that was just Q4 2025. Here is why Trump cannot stop this bleeding. Trump's model is a dominance hierarchy. He is the alpha. Everyone submits. If they don't, they get punished. This works in boardrooms, reality TV shows, bankruptcy courts. This does not work in global capital allocation. Capital is not a person. You cannot bully it. You cannot tweet at it. You cannot sanction it into submission. Capital is water. It flows towards safety, away from heat, away from chaos. The doom loop. Trump claims, you need us. Canada proves they don't. Each refutation weakens the claim, triggers a louder claim. Louder claim triggers more exits. More exits demand a louder claim. The spiral ends with one man standing alone, shouting at an empty room. Where Trump is loud, Carney is quiet. Where Trump threatens, Carney calculates. Where Trump demands loyalty, Carney offers contracts. Core insight. Power doesn't come from being feared. It comes from being trusted. In a world on fire, boring is worth billions. Trump demands loyalty. Carney earns trust. Trump treats allies as tenants. Carney treats allies as investors. That difference is now worth $270 billion and counting. Your car. 25% tariff on auto parts that cross the US-Canada border 6 times before final assembly. That $42,000 Toyota Camry is now $53,000 minimum. I'll buy American. Ford raises prices too. GM raises prices too. Because their supply chains cross the same border. You have no leverage. You just have a higher bill. Your 401k. The S&P dropped 1.8% the day Carney said rupture. Meanwhile, Canadian stocks rallied. British stocks rallied. Australian stocks rallied. Your retirement account is paying the price for a trade war nobody voted for. Your national security. Five Eyes is the backbone of Western intelligence. Britain has already suspended partial intelligence sharing with the United States. Confirmed in UK Parliament, December 2025. On the record. If Five Eyes fractures completely, Americans die. Not metaphorically, literally. Your reputation. For 80 years, Made in America meant trust, stability, the future. When the Siebel Institute left Chicago after 157 years, that was a vote of no confidence cast in a moving truck. Takes a century to build, one Truth Social post to destroy. Right now in Davos, Switzerland, there is a recording. Mark Carney, standing at a podium, in front of the world's most powerful investors. And he said, calmly, without anger, without theater, the old relationship with the United States, that integration, is over. Not shouted, not tweeted, stated as fact. 250 miles to the north, in Montreal, Quebec, excavators are breaking ground. Siebel Institute, Phillips Distilling, carbon capture, and more to come. Because word travels fast when a country says, "You are wanted here." Meanwhile, in Washington, Truth Social posts, tariff threats, all caps, zero strategy. Carney didn't start this fire, but every bucket of water Trump throws turns out to be gasoline. The question is no longer whether America is losing. The question is how much has to burn before someone admits it. How many companies have to leave before this stops being a political debate and starts being a national emergency? If you work in manufacturing, if your pension is in the S&P, if your child is joining the military, how does this feel? Is this what the tariffs were supposed to do? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one.